From fans being furious over him still not being a part of the testing pool, to Michael Chandler using Conor's recent controversy against him, here's how the fans have reacted to the notorious missing the USADA deadline. At this point, it feels like most of the MMA community's lost hope. After all, the guy hasn't donned on his gloves in literally 2 years, and now that he's missed the deadline to enter the anti-doping agency's testing pool, fans are furious. Because the moment we were about to witness a comeback, the Irishman said, "See you never." It's like the third time this year he has dipped out of a testing pool. And honestly, sure, wanting to see him fight is one thing, but I don't think he's even gonna enter the testing pool until later this year. With all the controversy surrounding him, it's pretty unlikely he's going to go up against Chandler in 2023. The deadline for McGregor to register to the testing pool was the 16th of June, which is long gone now. And this means no more UFC 296 for the Notorious. In the past, the USADA has made it crystal clear that McGregor needs his 6 months of testing at all costs in order to be declared clean to fight again. But what's funny is that before the clock stopped ticking for him, the Irishman informed a few media sources that all of his issues with the testing agency were done and dusted, and that he was definitely going to be taking on Chandler before the end of 2023. Ever since MMA reporter Aaron Bronsteter dropped his tweet about Conor missing the deadline, fans became certain that McGregor's bout with Chandler won't take place this year. Plus, the records on USADA's website also revealed how Conor hasn't returned to the testing pool. One person stated that it's not like people didn't know this wasn't going to happen, and I agree. I wish I could say I'm surprised. After all, the guy is too busy sending mascots to the ER, but that's not even the worst part. Fans have gone overboard with sending hate, saying things like how McGregor is going to pay his way into a fight. They're losing not only hope, but also respect for the Irishman. It's getting more and more repetitive with time. Some say he's done fighting, while others believe he has more important things to sort out beforehand. I mean, it was so funny because I was reading the replies, and even Twitter bots were having at it with roasting Conor. One thing's for sure, he's out of his prime, yet he keeps trying to stay relevant. So it really amazes me how even after not fighting for so long, Conor has received more attention than any other fighter. I guess he enjoys being in the spotlight a bit too much. So much so that he sometimes bites off more than he can chew. I mean, look at how many controversies he's surrounded with. But despite that, fans think the fight will be postponed to UFC 300, which is most likely to take place in April or May of 2024. Like I said, reports are hinting that the Irishman will register in the pool by October or November of 2023, so it makes sense now to wait for an April fight. After all, why would the brass even take the risk of pushing for a UFC 296 fight, all just for him to be doubtful at the end? It doesn't seem worth it. Not to mention, Dana doesn't want any part of it either. At the UFC 286 post-fight news conference, White said that he no longer wanted to be a part of the conflict between Conor and USADA, hinting that the media should focus their attention on experts like Jeff Nowitzki. Dana made it clear that he couldn't give two less Fs about the situation. And considering that McGregor has been Dana's golden boy for years, this did sound a little odd. You see, Dana loves getting involved, so maybe he's frustrated that Conor has made it a habit now to go off the rails. But then again, fans don't like being kept in the dark either. They were furious when the Irish fighter missed the USADA's deadline, saying things like Conor being a joke and whatnot. You gotta admit, it's tough being a Conor fan, and looks as if he isn't all that interested in it anymore. But what if he has some other plans that haven't been revealed yet? Whatever the case, for the time being, the fans are being kept in the dark. Conor hasn't commented on the matter either yet, although he has previously voiced his anger with USADA, referring to them as a garbage org that was attempting to ruin his image. Why'd he do that? Well, that's because they didn't let him fight before under special circumstances. But again, he got into a bicycle accident too, so I'm not really sure what he wants. I mean, who knows what Conor's brewing? After all, he's the most tested athlete in the history of the sport. But as of right now, our boy has been on a run. Don't just take my word for it. Even experts say McGregor juicing up is unnatural. How else does a guy gain that much muscle mass in such a short period of time? Conor hasn't participated in a USADA testing pool since his defeat to Dustin Poirier in 2021. What's even weirder was the fact that Conor didn't share any shirtless pictures of himself appearing jacked until after it was already known that the Notorious was permitted to withdraw from the testing pool. Joe Rogan spoke up quite a bit on the subject, and even said that McGregor's samples would possibly put a hole in the testing cup. Even if it sounds absurd, there is some truth behind it. Why else would he avoid drug tests if he's got nothing to hide? Just look at him. How does someone put on muscle mass like that if they're just sticking to a healthy diet and squeezing in a good workout every day? Because at this point, staying away from USADA is only going to make him appear more suspicious, and he's only making matters worse for himself. But things are also as bad for Chandler right now, because Conor hasn't been upfront about what he wants going forward with the USADA. He's now calling out McGregor for not taking things seriously. In a recent video, Chandler expressed his curiosity as to why Conor McGregor hadn't joined the USADA testing pool yet. Iron stated that the doping agency visited him with only 179 days left for the alleged fight, which added insult to injury. He wrote the caption to this clip saying, "Where the fuck is that guy?" mocking Conor's famous line. The tweet generated a lot of laughter from fans, who expressed their views in many different ways. Some said McGregor was just afraid to compete, while another crossed the line saying, "How Conor doesn't want the smoke as he's too busy assaulting women in restrooms." Yikes! More fans chimed in claiming, Conor was MIA as he's a little too occupied using the performance-enhancing drugs that Dana White delivered to him. While die-hard fans of the fighters were sad, saying they'd lost respect for the Notorious. And I'm gonna be honest here, I agree. He used to be everyone's favorite fighter, and now he's just some guy doing random things to stay in the spotlight. Fans had so much money on him, and now he's gone, just like that. As of now, one thing's for certain, Conor versus Mike, not happening. Cause not only is he probably on steroids, but McGregor's around 50 pounds overweight, which means he probably never will compete in the lightweight division again. Honestly, I feel awful for Mike. He's being left out to dry because the man just can't seem to lock the Notorious one down for a match. It would be better for him just to drop Conor's fight, because it's not going to happen either way. Fans still don't know why they ever believed Conor was sincere about coming back. The 34-year-old is almost a billionaire, so it wouldn't matter even if he retires. But Chandler still believes that Conor wouldn't leave with a stain on his legacy, although at this point that's just him being hopeful. Maybe he should just move on and follow what other ambitions he may have for his career. But I don't blame him for sticking around either. It's a massive paycheck after all. Before he missed out on the deadline to submit the samples, Conor did hand in his paperwork to get back in the pool, and USADA actually confirmed it as well. But we're gonna have to wait for more details. It's possible Uncle Dana might play favorites again, considering how he's always had a soft side for McGregor. But with a mob of fans hot on his tail and an angry USADA breathing down his neck, I'm not sure if there's anything Dana or Conor can do at this point. So, from Michael Chandler starting a thread of memes to fans being pissed at the Irishman, that was all for fans reacting to Conor McGregor missing the USADA deadline.